The awakening ceremony began. Someone in the square shouted to touch the stone to activate the profession and abilities of each participant. In the third group, Zhang Ten, you received the profession of a blacksmith, while another disciple was awakened into a mason. Feng Yun told the others that only useless professions were awakening, adding that even a subsidiary one would be more interesting than this. He added with a smile that his brother would definitely awaken a magnificent fighting profession with a majestic and glittering sword in his hands. Suddenly a guy crashed into him, knocking him down and interrupting the course of events, causing shock among the students present. People started shouting loudly and demanding to know who dared to bump into their brother right in the middle of the awakening ceremony. The guy quickly replied that he was in a hurry, didn't notice him, and immediately sincerely apologized for his behavior. Feng Yun looked at the stranger carefully, and with bewilderment trying to understand who he was and where he came from. His appearance and confident expression made one think that he might come from an influential, wealthy family. The guy himself suddenly asked if everyone here really thought he came from an influential and wealthy family. He added that he knew of the Lin family, which many years ago someone completely and without explanation destroyed to the ground. This young man's name is Lin Han, and he is the last surviving member of the once great Lin family. It is a pity that one of the greatest geniuses of the school wasted himself so ineptly and dared to come here to awaken the profession. He didn't respond to the barbs in any way. Instead, he just smiled calmly, not paying attention to anyone's provocations. One of the students said that only a weakling is capable of just talking from the sidelines, dreaming of awakening a rare profession. He said that right now he would clearly demonstrate what it means to be a real talent among all these insignificant people. Suddenly, a holographic figure of unknown origin appeared in front of everyone, causing amazement and alarm among everyone present in the square. The students began to talk among themselves, not understanding what was happening and where such an anomaly could have appeared right in front of them. A bright light enveloped the square. This had never happened before. Could this guy really be a real genius among all of them? One student said doubtfully, could it be that this trash caused an anomaly upon awakening and is now capable of more? The awakening stone was activated, and in a moment it gave the final result. Everyone around held their breath, waiting for a real miracle. The hidden class dropped, but the tamer profession sparked a debate as to whether it should be considered a blessing or a shameful fall into the mud. Lin Han wondered if he would really become a beast tamer now and how he could use this to his advantage. There were smirks all around. Some started to mock him, considering taming a weak and absolutely useless profession for fighting. Someone said that if the beast is not strong enough, then the tamer himself becomes a worthless, weak, and useless creature. To raise a powerful beast, you need resources that he doesn't have. Let him crawl and beg for a contract, even with a dog. Lin Han asked with a smirk if it was this guy with nothing but a profession who called him weak in public. He added that he did not need money because he already had his own beast, a strong and loyal ally. That student immediately became enraged and, unable to contain his rage, went on the attack, deciding to attack right on the spot. At this time, a woman slowly approached from the side, her face expressing determination, and she headed straight towards them. She immediately entered the fight, striking the guy trying to stop the fight that had started and prevent chaos. Thanks to her actions, the fight stopped, and everyone began to watch what was happening without interfering and waiting for the next move. It turned out to be Bai Bing, who demanded an explanation as to who dared to touch her students, threatening to kill them if they did not leave. The guy looked at her in shock, not expecting such rage and strength from a woman in academic clothing. Despite the threat, he said that he was not going to leave because he had his own reasons for staying here. Even though Bai Bing is a teacher, it is not worth getting involved with their clan. They will forgive today, but they will meet again soon. She asked if Lin Han had really awakened the hidden class and told him not to try to joke around with her. After her words, she became furious, unable to hold back her emotions. Her face instantly turned red with anger. She screamed that how many times had she told him to call her sister and not to come to the ceremony as a stranger. Still, she let him go, ending the tension, realizing that punishing him now made no sense. She said that the profession of a tamer is a real abyss into which only those who are worth nothing fall. Then she handed him the money, advising him to find a worthy beast to at least slightly increase his own strength. He sincerely thanked her, promising that he would definitely repay her with kindness, and one day he would definitely return everything with interest. She jokingly said that if he continued to be so insolent, she would rip his head off. After the ceremony, he finally returned home tired but mentally ready for the next stage of his journey. Lin Han entered the house looking around, feeling the warmth of his home after a long absence. He said that he was finally back home and now it was time to move forward and realize his own potential. At that moment, a system signal sounded. He was congratulated on awakening, and the divine system of taming beasts was activated. Lin Han was once the eldest son of a family from a great clan that was destroyed by beasts during a terrible invasion. The first owner of this body could not bear the grief that befell him after the tragic death of his loved ones and simply died. At that moment, he passed into another world, simultaneously receiving a system that could only be activated after a full awakening. 3 years have passed. Does she know how he lived counting days and nights? Now he has a system. Suddenly, at that moment, something fell noisily on his head, causing slight confusion and fear. The system announced that the master has completed awakening. The beast taming system has been activated. Side quests are open. Donations change fate for 100,000 coins. He just took money from his sister and the system already demands more. He decided to see what she had prepared. After some time he realized where he was successfully completed the side quests and activated the high mode as planned by the system. Everything that was happening caused him incredible amazement. He did not expect such a result from his first awakening. The system congratulated. The high mode is activated. The super rare beast is unlocked. At the current stage of awakening, you can tame one beast. Confirm. Each level of awakening gives the right to tame a beast. At the 10th level, only one. The choice directly affects the combat strength. There was no money for a new beast, but the system could not offer something completely bad, at least not useless. Lin Han decided to take a chance even though he didn't fully understand what exactly this mysterious beast was. Here in front of him stood his first beast, and a fateful choice was made without the possibility of changing it. The system congratulated. One of the 10 ancient beasts was activated. The heavenly horned ant, the rarest contract, was concluded. Lin Han was puzzled. He had invested 100,000 coins and only received a measly ant. The system reported that the contract was concluded. Evolution was beginning. The ant would soon move into its second form. All this happened automatically. Evolution completed. The battle mode of the celestial horned ant is activated, capable of proving itself in the next level battles. He had not expected such a result and realized that he would probably be able to pass tomorrow's test without any particular problems. The next day, the students gathered at Shadow Mountain, and the man announced that the first training would begin after they woke up. The instructor turned out to be Chao Chun. He explained that Bai Bing was unable to come, and he would conduct today's practice. The system said that through the portal he would get into a suitable zone. Let him be careful. The test is easy though. At this moment, a student approached him with the intention of learning details about his beast. A guy named Long Jian Jiao, a berserker and best friend, offered to help catch the beasts and go together. Feng Yun began to mock, saying that even taming a beast requires help. Complete an entity, there are no other words. He asked sarcastically if Lin Han could bark a little, and then he would give him the tamed beast as a handout. The main character calmly and with a grin asked who was barking, hinting at the pathetic behavior of the offender. Suddenly a bark was heard from the crowd. Everyone looked towards the dog. It was indeed barking directly at the enemy. The boy realized with confusion that he had not understood Lin Han's irony, thinking that he was actually humiliating him. In a rage, he rushed forward and asked him if he wanted to die right then and there. But Lin Han easily blocked his attack without any effort, calmly standing in place. He clarified that this was all he could do, or that he hadn't even had breakfast since he was so weak. Although it seemed that the tamer was weak, in fact his strength was superior to many. Maybe the teacher gave him a secret artifact. The instructor called Lin Han, saying that it was his turn to quickly enter the portal and pass the test. The best friend insisted on going together, saying that it was dangerous to go alone, but assured that he could handle it himself if necessary. However, he had already made arrangements with Chao in advance, and Lin Han had no hope of surviving this test. He thought angrily that some brat dared to approach Bai Bing, which he shouldn't have done. This woman was meant only for him, and no one dares stand in his way, especially a boy like him. He decided that he would destroy without mercy those who dared to stand between him and the target. The silver pumping zone where the hero ended up was clearly chosen intentionally. Chao Chun did it on purpose. Suddenly he saw a pack of dangerous wolves in front of him, appearing in his path as if out of nowhere. He instantly realized that these were storm wolves, known for their speed and coordination in attack. Lin Han ordered his beast to wake up because it was time to fight, although his strength was clearly not enough yet. At that moment his beast began to awaken, causing a bright light and shaking the ground with invisible energy. Instead of an ant, a beautiful girl appeared, surrounded by a mysterious aura, as if the embodiment of an ancient power. She addressed her master with respect, stating that she was fully prepared to fight and follow orders. Lin Han noted that the power of a true ancient beast that he had been waiting for so long had finally manifested. The next second, the girl rushed into battle, engaging the pack of wolves without the slightest hesitation. Her actions were fast, precise, and professional, eliminating enemies with terrifying efficiency. A moment later, she reported to her master that the task was completed. The enemies were destroyed without the slightest difficulty. However, at that moment, she seemed to become sad. Her gaze became sad, as if remembering something distant. She is indeed one of the 10 ancient beasts, and she took down 7 storm wolves in less than a minute, which is amazing. It was great. In just a few minutes, he reached level 6, although in terms of combat power, he was not comparable to AI, but with ordinary combat classes, he was almost on par. The girl looked at the owner in surprise, not expecting to see such a result so quickly. Lin Han couldn't decide if he was crazy to compare his characteristics with hers. After all, she was one of the 10 ancient beasts. Even among those of equal level, there were few who could compare to her. However, looking at her, it was difficult to imagine that she was a beast. Rather, she looked like a naive girl without evil and cunning. At this moment, she assured that the owner was nearby, and therefore one could calmly not worry about his safety. Meanwhile, someone was watching them and said that Chao Chun noted that guy is someone. Then it was a girl. He didn't know for sure, but if she can kill a storm wolf with her bare hands, then she wasn't weak. Moreover, this figure and its appearance are simply the highest class among the highest classes, deserving special respect and recognition. He told the boss that she was even cooler than Bai Bing, and they wanted her because killing such a woman would be a pity and unprofitable. No matter how much they wanted, the woman turned out to be difficult. Later, the 3 of them attacked from an ambush. The enemy caught her, and in the meantime he finished off the guy quickly and mercilessly. At that moment, he asked why the 2 of them were silent and not taking any action, as if they were waiting for something important. As it turned out, the girl was right next to them at that moment and was listening attentively to their conversation without giving herself away. She asked if they were going to attack the owner, expressing serious concern and readiness to protect him. The guy was very surprised by such directness and the unexpected appearance of the defender at this critical moment. She was able to silently subdue the second and third opponents, which means she was at least level 20 and a very experienced fighter. Lin Han told her to grab him and not let him go. After all, who is he if he has such a bodyguard who is ready to fight for him to the end? He understood that he needed to hurry, otherwise the situation could get out of control and lead to serious consequences. At that very moment, the girl suddenly attacked him, demonstrating her determination and strength in battle. Lin Han told her to stop, trying to avoid unnecessary conflict, and explain the situation from the other side. He didn't understand if the level of this zone was really limited to 20, since the appearance of a strong enemy would throw off all calculations. After all, a level 22 Storm Wolf King appeared before them, clearly exceeding the limit and posing a serious threat. The boy begged for help to be saved, realizing that the enemy forces were too great for him alone. However, at that moment he was swatted and simply killed, leaving no chance for salvation or resistance. The boss level quest was to destroy the Storm Wolf King. The reward for completing it was 200 beast points. The level 22 king was a serious challenge for everyone. Lin Han told the girl that the enemy was too strong and that they needed to retreat for now to avoid unnecessary losses and develop a new strategy. When she stopped him, he knew she would not rest until she fought, and her determination was unwavering. The girl really became eager to fight at that time, showing a real passion for combat and protecting her loved ones. Lin Han suggested that she should start fighting and kill the enemy in order to quickly complete the dangerous task and protect everyone present. At this time, the wolf, oddly enough, flew straight at them, not giving them time to prepare and forcing them to act quickly. The girl began to fight him, using all her skills and strength to hold back the onslaught of the dangerous enemy. She put all her efforts into this moment, not allowing herself the slightest weakness or hesitation in the fight. She then rose into the air, using her abilities to gain an advantage and improve her position. The girl used the lightning movement skill to quickly change location and avoid the enemy's attack. At this time, the wolf attacked her, trying to deliver a fatal blow and end the fight in his favor. When she fell, it was not an explosion, but something better, blinding and stunning the enemies around her. The girl immediately began to rise to her feet, showing incredible endurance and fighting spirit in a difficult situation. The king at that moment reached out to attack her again, not wanting to miss the chance to deliver the decisive blow. After that, he launched attacks in bursts, demonstrating high speed and skill in combat against her. The girl was simply defending herself, then trying to withstand powerful blows and find a moment to counterattack. As expected, the level difference was too great and she couldn't handle a frontal attack requiring a different tactic. These wolves were completely without honor. They also hid in order to attack vilely and use unfair methods in battle. The guy asked if they really were bastards attacking in this way, expressing anger and indignation at the behavior of their enemies. He said that they were still too green and lacked experience for a real serious fight. He then thanked them for coming to fight him, showing respect for the determination of his opponents. He was thinking about how to deal with the Wolf King, but now it was decided by itself. The first task was to destroy 10 beasts. 9 out of 10 had already been destroyed. The boy rose into the air, preparing for the next stage and showing confidence in his abilities. Then he literally began to open the mouth of one of them, preparing to deliver a powerful and decisive blow in the battle. After that, he killed him and completed the first task, demonstrating his abilities and dexterity. Lin Han killed the wolf and completed the first task, receiving well-deserved recognition for his actions. For this task, he received 100 beast points and told the girl to use furious strikes to increase the effectiveness of the battle. At that moment, she was simply surprised and defended herself, not expecting such a powerful attack and a sharp turn of events. 1 beast point was spent to awaken the powerful skill Furious Strike for the horned ant with a long cooldown of 5 minutes. She began to carefully prepare for a strong and precise blow, gathering all her inner strength and concentration. The Wolf King could not understand and determine where exactly she was hiding and concealing herself at this decisive moment of the battle. The girl then suddenly launched a quick and unexpected attack at him, catching the enemy off guard and causing serious damage. She was rapidly rushing upward, gaining altitude and speed for the subsequent advantageous maneuver in the air. The girl put in all her strength and effort, not allowing herself a second to rest or make a mistake during the battle. After this, she transformed into her reverse form, changing her appearance and greatly increasing her combat power and speed. This really helped her, and she tore the wolf apart with incredible fury, demonstrating her strength. After that, she roughly threw the wolf to the ground. The boss level task was successfully completed. 200 beast points and a lot of experience were obtained. The level 22nd Wolf King simply died from one powerful blow, which surprised and shocked everyone present. He was truly a fierce and powerful beast, inspiring fear and respect with his terrifying appearance and strength. The system instantly notified her of the successful completion of the task and the well-deserved receipt of the reward for the battle. The Storm King was completely defeated, dropping the normal equipment and exclusive weapon which she took for herself. The girl turned to the owner with a contented and easy expression on her face, showing confidence and satisfaction. She hugged the guy tightly and said that she managed to kill this big and dangerous dog. The guy asked her to calm down. He couldn't understand what exactly she was experiencing at that moment, trying to understand her feelings and emotions. Now he began to understand what exactly this feeling felt like after a tense and exhausting battle to the death. The girl confessed to her owner that she was very tired and really needed rest after all the stress and fighting. She then added that she wanted to sleep and immediately fell asleep suddenly and without warning, completely exhausted. Everything ended as usual. He thanked her for her efforts and said that now she should rest in peace. The power-saving mode was activated. The girl's strength began to recover and the monster dropped its loot like in online games. Lin Han decided to carefully examine the dropped items and evaluate their value and usefulness for further use. They were incredibly lucky. The Storm Wolf King dropped a silver weapon with a hilt made from a wolf's fang. It was a pretty good weapon that could be sold profitably and get a good amount of money for it. Once he is fully recovered, he will continue hunting, leveling up, and selling the gear he has acquired. He decided to check his current level to assess his own progress and capabilities in the game. His level was 10. He didn't expect that killing just one Wolf King would give him maximum experience. He had planned to continue hunting to become stronger and earn money for equipment, but now he was doubting this plan. Before leaving, he chatted a bit and thought it was time to find out who exactly sent them on this dangerous mission. It looks like it won't be boring because there are many events, trials, and unexpected twists of fate ahead. Hours later, the medical team was preparing for the students' return after the arduous testing and training. Everyone was fully prepared to conduct an inspection and provide the necessary assistance to the injured and tired students. Some of the students were incredibly lucky and were able to return alive and well for further treatment. At this crucial moment, someone unexpectedly approached him with a question or an important comment on the situation. It was Teacher Bai, who was surprised that he didn't have other more important things to do and assignments to do today. The man said they were just greeting students after the tests and she shouldn't have gone to so much trouble. He was asked to explain the details of the tests to Lin Han and help her better understand the situation. He said that despite their closeness as instructors, they have a responsibility to treat all students equally and fairly. He invited her to join him in a secluded place to calmly discuss details and share experiences. She got serious and said that she wanted to get a full and detailed explanation on the issues that were troubling her. The man admitted that he didn't quite understand what exactly she was asking and what exactly he wanted an answer to. Lin Han had just awakened as a beast tamer and sent him to the silver level training area to train. He had no family and decided that he could do whatever he wanted with it without any consequences or hindrance. He explained that she had misunderstood his actions, and he had valid and justifiable reasons for doing so. He quickly leveled up without sending the beast to its death, but negotiated the help of 3 assistants to support him in battles. Let them pray that everything will be all right with him, and that no troubles or misfortunes will happen in the future. Otherwise, wherever he gets wounded, they will cut off the same part and send him a replacement, preserving his combat capability. Now she is acting bold and pretending to be invincible, but this state will not last long. They'll soon see how long she can stay so cocky and confident when she sees the guy's corpse. If he really has a chance, maybe he can change something and influence her behavior. The test participants began to gradually return after a long and difficult passage through all stages. The 6th group, led by Lung Lingshui, stood out for its rare profession Storm Mage, one of the 2 talents of the school. She was the first to complete the tests and was considered one of the best students in the school, which confirmed her talent. Feng Yu noted that since she was a genius of her generation, it would be nice to get closer to her and establish a relationship. As soon as he tried to hug her, she immediately took a step forward and did not allow him to carry out this gesture. If it were an old acquaintance, Lin Han might think of it differently, but in his case he had to forget about it. Naturally, the guy was furious at such a refusal and the limitation of his desire. At that very moment, someone else came out of the portal, attracting the attention of everyone present. The main character's best friend immediately ran out and asked if he had already returned from the tests. The guy expected that the fat guy was able to survive the test, and he was really lucky, but his friend was probably not so lucky. Of course, the guy got angry after such words, hearing ridicule addressed to him and his friends. He threatened him not to dare to say such things again, reminding him that Lin Han was not an ordinary person. At this point, the man demanded that everyone shut up and stop arguing for no reason. He asked Tianjiao if Lin Han was really his father and advised him not to worry about others. He told her to quickly step aside and not interfere with others exiting the portal after the tests. The man assured that Lin Han would definitely return despite all the difficulties and dangers. An hour later, everyone was thanking the guy for his hard work and asking if he was handling the pressure well. Everyone had already returned, but no one understood why Lin Han had not yet appeared in public. Many guessed that he most likely died inside, because dying while taming animals in a pack is an honorable death. At that moment, a stone flew into the air, interrupting the thoughts and attracting the attention of everyone around. The rock hit one of the boys, causing a sudden and sharp noise and reaction. Then he noticed someone who caught his eye and aroused his interest. Lin Han lost track of time while playing and didn't notice when noisy and annoying dogs appeared at school. He finally returned, and everyone called him a scoundrel for his long absence and silence. His sister thought he was a bloody brat who had scared her with his sudden appearance. The instructor couldn't understand what had happened because he had sent 3 people to deal with Lin Han, but he remained unharmed. He thought that Lin Han was just lucky and mistakenly thought that he would be let go so easily. Feng Yun couldn't figure out what a tamed beast without pets could do in battle, assuming that he was just hiding in the corner. The guy started asking if he was crazy for thinking that everyone was a coward like him. But whether he is a coward or not, soon everyone will find out what Lin Han really is. Lin Han, this useless beast tamer, hid in the dark mountains for a long time, only to come out now showing cowardice. The boy didn't want to hear it and started asking what exactly he just said, and Lin Han answered sharply whether he had finished barking. With his skills, he is not even worthy of cleaning his beast's shoes, which made the guy angry. After these words, the guy became furious and began to prepare for a response. He proposed a bet to find out whose level was higher, promising 100,000 coins to the winner and a bow in case of defeat. Lin Han agreed and added that if he lost, his father would punish him so much that he would fall through the ground. He told the instructor that this was a matter between them and asked him not to interfere in their dispute and bet. The instructor agreed and reminded that the school values honesty above all else, so bets must be fair. Lin Han himself proposed a bet, and the boy immediately took out a knife, showing his seriousness. The guy's look was familiar, a sly and cunning gleam in his eyes, he was about to deceive someone again. The instructor announced that since the bet had been made, the fight could begin and everyone should be ready. The guy, although he did not participate in the bet, declared that he was Lin Han's brother and was also joining the fight. His level was only level 2 and he was bragging even though he was weaker, being level 3 with a greatsword. The third level is considered very cool and rare for the profession, which confirmed his skills and experience. He actually reached the third level, which began to worry him and inspire him to fight. He then said that it was now the protagonist's turn to show his abilities in battle. This weakling is only level 2 and clearly can't be higher than that, he was sure. He thought of her that both of them should kneel and bow to him as a grandfather and the head of the school. The guy started asking what exactly he was bragging about and what achievements he had. Lin Han told him not to worry because he didn't take his strength and abilities seriously. He asked incredulously if he really was only level 3, and even if he had to start from scratch, he would still be much stronger than this guy. Everyone present was extremely surprised and amazed when they learned that he had already reached level 10 and had such impressive capabilities. The main character had a level 10, which caused respect and sincere admiration among all the students and teachers of the academy. Feng Yun was deeply amazed that a useless beast tamer had managed to reach such a high level and strength in such a short time. Even Lung Ling Shui, the best student in the entire school, would not have been able to achieve such results and progress in such a short period of time. He has always considered himself smarter than everyone else, thinking that if he couldn't do something, then others weren't capable of doing it either. He told the instructor that he would definitely witness their bet and asked him to carefully monitor that the guy did not try to cheat in any way. He was able to reach such a high level of 10 thanks to the support of several assistants and teachers who made every effort to protect him. The instructor was puzzled and couldn't understand why Lin Han was still alive, even though he had sent people to eliminate him and was now going to use this information against him. He's worked hard to get this prestigious position, and there's no way he's going to let some brat ruin it all, planning to shut the guy up for good today. The girl couldn't believe her eyes and ears that Lin Han had actually reached such a high level of 10. After all, he used to be the #1 genius of the entire academy. However, she was confident that sooner or later she would be able to catch up and surpass him, since she was currently level 5. Lin Han asked her if she hadn't said before that she had important things to do, and why was she still here despite that. The girl replied that she had settled all her affairs and came here because it was her direct responsibility, and she could not simply ignore what was happening. The guy asked if she had seen how quickly Lin Han had reached level 10 in just a few hours and was sure that with time he would become absolutely invincible. The girl was extremely surprised and could not believe that progress could be so rapid and sudden. At the most unexpected moment, the instructor launched a sudden attack on the guy, trying to catch him off guard and suppress his resistance. The girl quickly pushed the guy away and warned him to be very careful to avoid serious injuries and troubles. She immediately asked Chao Chong why he was attacking a student, since this was a clear violation of the Academy's rules and code. In response, he told her not to try to use the Academy's rules against him because it would only make the situation worse and cause consequences. He firmly stated that today he must finish off the guy and not leave him the slightest chance of salvation. After such a sharp attack, the girl fell to the ground, feeling a sharp weakness and fatigue that suddenly overcame her. However, she quickly pulled herself together and mobilized all her forces to continue the fight and not give in to the enemy. She stated that as long as she was here, he would not be able to carry out his evil intentions and achieve the desired result. The sister understood that she would not be able to resist the man in strength, and in such a conflict she would be at an extreme disadvantage if everything continued. He said that the girl was too protective of the guy, and all his sincere feelings for her were now gone to dust and disappeared. At that very moment, he was clearly much stronger than her, which emphasized his superiority and dominance in the battle. In that case, he was going to take all the interest and benefits first, leaving no chance for his rivals. At that very moment, a quick and precise kick flew towards him, aimed straight at the target unexpectedly and swiftly. It turned out that it was Lin Han himself who intervened in the conflict and protected the girl, preventing the enemies from harming her. After that, he deftly grabbed the girl in his arms to help her recover and protect her from further attacks. The protagonist asked her if she was okay, and she replied that she felt fine despite the stress and fatigue she had experienced. He asked the instructor how the 10th level kick felt and threatened that if necessary he could demonstrate his full power of taming beasts again. The man replied that he didn't think he really knew how he reached level 10, 10 since he had sent 3 level 15 assistants and none of them had returned alive. He assumed that Lin Han had gone crazy and killed them all to gain their experience and increase his own level. He was so cruel and ruthless that he believed he was not worthy of remaining a student at their academy and should be punished immediately. At that very moment, something started to happen around that caused tension and anxiety among everyone present. Lin Han asked if the assistant he was talking about was himself trying to fully understand the situation. He saw that Ahao was indeed dead, which confirmed his worst fears and suspicions about the events. Then the other 2 assistants most likely died too because the dead cannot testify to what happened. He even pulled the corpse up and thought about what exactly he would say as an excuse for what had happened and to whom. Lin Han couldn't understand what justification meant because he had simply found a dead person in the Shadow Mountains and carried him out of the kindness of his heart. Unlike some who send their younger siblings to certain death and then pretend they had no part in the horror, he was sure that even after death these people continue to be used as cannon fodder in battles and fights. If he doesn't like it, let him remember that at night he will have to find him and resolve this issue personally. Now they are breaking his arms and legs to check whether he can still make excuses and talk nonsense or shut up forever. The girl began to indignantly ask how he dared to behave like that and act so cruelly in this situation. Lin Han asked if he was afraid that he would expose all his dirty deeds and if he would be able to hold back his anger. He told him to shut up because he would do it for revenge for the guy and for justice no matter what. Revenge or the desire to remove a witness. He himself must understand what he is doing at the moment and what consequences it will lead to. The man began to vigorously defend himself, trying to prevent attacks and protecting himself by all available means. Everyone around shouted loudly at the instructor, demanding that he thoroughly teach this impudent scum a lesson and put him in his place. At that very moment, the man suddenly launched an offensive attack, trying to catch his opponent off guard and strike first. Everyone was puzzled as to how this scum was able to dodge his fists, since even level 20 fighters were not able to react so quickly. The instructor was much stronger in any fight, so he did not consider Lin Han to be a serious opponent at all. However, he did not intend to fight him using only his fists but was preparing to use more powerful and unexpected techniques. Lin Han decided to use the ice staff, which had a minimum level of 10 to use to gain an advantage in battle. The man couldn't understand what was happening when his leg began to rapidly become covered in ice, losing mobility and control. It was at this moment that Lin Han delivered a powerful kick, causing the opponent to retreat and feel the pressure. The guy loudly demanded that he immediately leave and not disturb them, demonstrating determination and confidence. The blow was so powerful that it could have broken bones, and this caused the man to noticeably weaken and lose his balance. It's good that, after pumping up, his strength increased significantly, otherwise he wouldn't have been able to suppress the enemy, and without the staff he wouldn't have found his weakness. Once the enemy has retreated to a safe distance, he himself will no longer have to risk and fight directly. In the end, although his stats are slightly inferior to a man with AIS support, he will become much stronger and more dangerous. The man will only be left to meekly accept her blows without the ability to effectively defend himself or counterattack. She began to slowly approach the man and declared that those who harm the owner will definitely pay in full. At that very moment, the man was greatly puzzled by her courage and unexpected determination, not expecting such a turn of events. She firmly stated that people like him should die and not cause harm and suffering to anyone anymore. At that very moment, a powerful explosion occurred that shook the earth and made everyone retreat in horror. However, the girl turned out to be much stronger than the man and was able to gain the upper hand thanks to her skills and strength. The best friend couldn't hold back his emotions and said that the guy was a real handsome man, having managed to hide such a strong girl. The sister was confused and could not understand who the mysterious girl was who had shown such power. Everyone saw that the instructor was thrown back by a strong blow and wondered what had happened in the fight. The girl was filled with rage at that moment, and her eyes glowed with determination and strength, ready to fight. Lin Han ordered her to return to him to conserve her strength and prepare for further action together. The girl was very puzzled when she heard his words at that very moment, not understanding why he was asking her to back off. Her true identity as an ancient beast is too dangerous information, and if it is revealed too early, it will be bad for all of them. She couldn't decide whether she should obey and retreat, but she decided to first turn back into an ant to hide. The girl simply obeyed and said that she had done everything, carried out the order, and was ready to retreat for a while. A split second later, she turned back into an ant hiding from view and preparing for further action. After that, she jumped on the guy's shoulder like a faithful companion and protector ready to support him at any moment. The instructor complained that Lin Han not only killed the assistant but also attacked the instructor himself with strangers violating all the rules. He said that spoiled students like him needed to be punished properly so that others would learn from it. It was necessary to carry out a strict punishment to set an example and restore discipline in the academy without exceptions. At this moment, someone loudly said to wait and not to rush to conclusions about Lin Han. Then a man appeared and informed the instructor that the case had not yet been investigated and that there was no need to rush into accusations against the student. He couldn't understand how this man ended up here and how he was able to intervene in the situation in time. It was the Dean Sikong Chang, the first dean of the middle school level 56 and a high-ranking demon slayer. This guy was a teaching assistant for the sake of leveling up and understood the seriousness of what was happening. He wanted to capture Lin Han and hand him over to his father, believing that he had attempted to kill the dean and such scumbags should be severely punished. The witnesses and evidence were clear, and he asked the dean to make a decision and sentence the boy to death or expulsion from the academy. Lin Han said that these rumors were just idle talk and he would not prove his innocence with empty words. He asked the guy if he had anything to say in his defense and then suggested that they first check the real cause of the assistant's death. The man promised that he would definitely find out the true reason in order to establish justice and punish the guilty. The assistant's entire chest was crushed and most of his internal organs were torn. Such wounds could only have been caused by large animals. But even if he was finished off by beasts, Lin Han was definitely involved since he brought the body from here and bears responsibility. Lin Han said that this man was a natural-born liar and knew how to lie since he so stubbornly claimed his guilt. Why doesn't he admit that he sent his assistant to certain death and that he turned out to be too weak and useless for the animals? The girl stated that the instructor had previously sent the main character to a zone that was not his level and suspects that this was an assassination attempt. In response, the instructor began to deny the accusations and said that it was unfair because he could not harm the student and it was slander. All this is just empty words from the guy because he does not have a single real proof of the instructor's guilt. The guy insisted to the end that the instructor's accusations were a serious matter and demanded that he present solid evidence. He reminded that all the instructor's men whom he sent died and there were no living witnesses to accuse the main character. Lin Han replied that he was not in the habit of unfairly accusing others and always said only what was justified. Of course, because she actually has evidence in the form of 2 witnesses who saw everything with their own eyes. Everyone present was very surprised when they saw these people and realized that the matter was more serious than it seemed at first. When this happened, 3 secret observers were watching him and accidentally encountered the king of the storm wolves. 1 assistant was killed immediately. As for the reason why the instructor sent 3 people to secretly follow Lin Han, it was for surveillance and control. These 2 remaining ones could give explanations and tell the whole truth about what happened. They immediately started shouting that it was the instructor's order to keep an eye on Lin Han and if necessary create the illusion of his death from the beast's claws. The wilderness is full of ants, alphas, creatures that live strictly according to the hierarchy and laws of their flock. With ancient beasts like the AI, it is much easier to extract confession since they only obey the strongest. Lin Han asked the instructor if he would like to finally explain something about what happened. The man began to noticeably worry and wondered what to answer in such a difficult situation. He realized that these 2 black guys quickly confessed and told everything, and now he had no way out. At that very moment, the man noticed something unusual in front of him and prepared himself for an unexpected turn of events. Just at that moment, lightning struck the instructor as if the heavens were punishing him for his misdeeds. The dean began to tell the instructor that the intention to harm a student was a serious violation of the academy's principles and was subject to punishment. He was told to prepare to accept the punishment he deserved for his criminal actions against the students. The case was closed. Everyone decided that the tests were over and the tired Lin Han could get in the car and head back. At that moment, a girl approached them with a question that interested everyone present. She asked the protagonist if he really killed the king of the storm wolves or if it was just a rumor. He replied that could she please keep her distance and not interfere since the situation was not over yet. His profession is not designed for close combat. He prefers to attack from afar, and without a partner he would not be able to fight the king face to face. The only explanation is that he made a contract with a very strong battle beast which helped him in the battle. The girl offered to fight in a training battle to test his strength. Lin Han replied that now was not the best time for that and was surprised to find that the cold and reserved Lang Ling Shui was actually very curious. Someone said that he understood Lang Ling Shui's desire to quickly become stronger and improve in combat. But now everyone needs to sum up the results of the tests and not measure their strength or arrange duels. The girl said she was just curious about how a beast tamer fought and hoped to understand him better, but the woman explained that the boy had just fought and needed to rest. Lin Han tried to intervene and asked Teacher Bai to let everyone go home as everyone was tired after long training and trials. He laughed and noted that the weather today was really great for rest and recuperation. First there was a strange girl, now there was a classmate, and he didn't understand why they were paying so much attention to him since he didn't really communicate with them. Since all the matters were settled, she decided to go, and they should be careful and not delay in order to return home as soon as possible. The girl said that he still hadn't answered her question, and he replied in an adult tone that he was a little tired today, but they would definitely discuss it later. She agreed and reminded him not to forget his promise because a word is a matter of honor. She finally left, but he was left with a strange feeling. It seemed that Sister Bean was angry and perhaps guessed that he had secretly gone to training. He decided not to think about it anymore because he still had many important things and tasks ahead that required attention. If he could sell 2 items, he would cover some of the expenses and perhaps even pay off the debt he took from Sister Bean. Tion, the manager of the trading platform, came to him and asked him to show 2 things that he would like to sell. Lin Han told him to take a close look at the equipment obtained from the Silver Training Zone on Shadow Mountain. When the man was surprised, he asked what happened and why such a reaction. He simply said goodbye and asked if his name was Lin Han, to which he confirmed and asked if he knew him. The man laughed and said that of course he knew. He had been friends with old Lin Han's father for more than 10 years and could call him Uncle Tion. While Lin Han can now walk freely in the Silver Training Area on Shadow Mountain for his age and strength, this is truly a family rebirth. Lin Han asked if this was true and if he trusted him since these 2 things could fetch a higher price on the marketplace. The man replied that he could be relied upon and added that they could try to bargain a little to lower the price. Then they both laughed and said at the same time that they would see what they could do about the sale. The man replied that they were good items and he would give 5 million dragon coins for their purchase considering their quality and rarity. Lin Han replied that although he knew the man's father, the deal had to be done according to the rules since the equipment dropped from the Assault Wolf King and was worth at least 8 million. The man said his father was his best friend and loved anything that brought good luck, so he offered a price of 7,880,000 and then lowered it to 6,660,000. Also a lucky number. Lin Han agreed to his proposal out of respect for the man because it turned out to be even better than he expected, which pleasantly surprised him. The man asked if they worked well together and the boy confirmed it, feeling a little outplayed but in a good way. He replied that the money had already been transferred to a bank card and the black card was their web card with a credit limit of 3 million dragon coins. If in the future he needs to sell or buy something, he can contact them more often, and the man thanked him for his trust and cooperation. Since he had already come, the guy decided to take a look at a couple of magic scrolls at the same time in order to expand his capabilities if necessary. 10 minutes after waking up, the guy already had such strength that apparently in the future he will achieve a lot and become stronger. Apparently in the future they will have many more opportunities for joint work and useful cooperation. The main character's house greeted him with comfort and tranquility, creating a feeling of a safe haven after all the trials. Lin Han asked Uncle Lu how he came to be here and what brought him to such an unexpected visit. It turned out that it was the manager of the Bai family, the butler Luo, who said that they had not seen each other for a long time and decided to visit. Since then, the Bai family had fallen into decline a long time ago indeed, and Luo decided to find out what brought him here today. Miss Bai Bing personally went to the Diamond Dungeon for Lin Han's sake and captured the Void Beast there, but for her unauthorized action, the head of the family ordered her to be placed under house arrest. The beast had to be handed over to Lin Han because even director Si Kuan didn't dare to just rush into the Diamond Dungeon for him, and she tried her best to help. In addition, their master conveyed some important message to the protagonist which could change a lot. The master said that the family had already done everything possible for Lin Han, and now let him take the Void Beast, and from now on there would be no obligations between them. He was strictly ordered not to come near their daughter again to avoid unnecessary conflicts and problems. Lin Han understood what this meant, parting with old connections and beginning a new stage in life. He thanked them for their concern but noted that he and the Bai family had no debts to begin with, and when the Lin family was destroyed, he did not ask them for help and did not intend to do so now either. He decided that he would not allow the animals to be taken back because now it was his responsibility and destiny. Let the beast be handed over to the master because he does not need help and he himself will cope with all the difficulties. The young master is certainly brave, but if the family does not want to give something away, no one will get it, and if they decide to give it away, no one has the right to refuse. Before you refuse, you should carefully weigh your strengths and understand what he is willing to do for his goals. At this moment, Lin Han simply looked at the man without saying a word, but his gaze was full of determination. He continued to look with fury, not hiding his displeasure and readiness to fight for his own. The man couldn't understand what was going on, and why he suddenly felt fear in front of the young animal tamer. Didn't he think he was weak and worthless? Why was his confidence so shaken now? There's no way he's going to let some guy put him down and question his authority. Lin Han threw him a card and told him to take it, hinting at repaying debts and settling accounts. The man quickly grabbed the card, realizing that the situation was getting serious. Lin Han explained that this was the money the girl had lent him, and now he was returning every last coin with interest, conveying her gratitude, but he did not owe anything to anyone. And now let him not dare to attack him just like that next time. There is no need to hope for the previous relationship between the Lin and Bai families. The man couldn't understand whether this was the same Lin Han who had lost his family, and how he could have such a strong spirit and will to win. At that moment, a new chapter began inside the house, filled with hopes and upcoming trials. The sly fox hangs a chicken. He doesn't expect anything good, but Sister Bean, although she kept her distance from him, did not want to burden him with her worries. However, this kind of pressure and coercion was really unpleasant, and he decided to stop thinking about it because tomorrow he had to go on a mission to change classes. At that moment, his beast sat next to him and watched him attentively, as if sensing the change in his owner's mood. She began to rub against him, expressing her support and affection. Suddenly, a bright glow appeared inside, illuminating the room with a soft light and creating a sense of wonder. The girl transformed into her true form, revealing her powers and becoming an even more formidable ally. She said he had worked hard and deserved a rest and a reward for his efforts. The next day was the day of class change, and the registrar girl had already chosen a room for him in the system where he could go right now. Did they hear that a beast tamer awakened in the first school? He was brutally tough, and even though the profession was considered useless, he immediately rose to level 10 and defeated the instructor. It's just incredible, but news spreads too fast, and the guy realized that in the future it would be better to be more modest to avoid unnecessary problems and envy. Lin Han walked into the room feeling more confident and ready for new challenges. The receptionist explained that it was enough to place a hand on the crystal for the task to change class to be displayed, and he was ready to begin the task. The class change quest was level 10 and probably shouldn't have been too difficult for him. The quest name was the Lost Kingdom level. 5 stars. The goal was to kill the thunder beasts in the ancient ruins and collect at least 7 energy stones. The scene was the destroyed ruins. At this point, all participants received a corresponding notification system about the start of a new task. No one could understand why this announcement suddenly appeared because a 5-star quest was considered a hellish level, which was almost impossible to complete alone. Lin Han couldn't understand how lucky he was to be given such a difficult and rare quest at a 5-star difficulty level. An official and loud announcement appeared about the issuance of an extremely rare and difficult 5-star task, which caused a heated discussion and surprise among everyone present in the hall. Who is this unfortunate loser who was given this incredibly difficult 5-star task? I wonder what powerful and strong class is behind this challenge and why exactly this one. Lin Han took a deep labored breath, thinking to himself that it was a good thing the system didn't show his name, otherwise he would have been subject to too much unnecessary attention and trouble. Okay, since the task has been accepted, it's time to stop wasting time and start acting as decisively and focused as possible so as not to miss your chance. The ruined ruins are a dark and mysterious place where the main character was sent, where the key events of this mission unfolded. It was in this ominous place that there was a gathering point for mercenaries who were ready to take part in a dangerous and risky mission. The man said with a serious look that none of those who came for tasks this month had been able to achieve significant success, and they would again have to be content with modest rewards. Suddenly, he turned his attention to one of the people in the crowd, as if he had noticed something that had caught his attention. Lin Han stood right in front of him, as if fate had brought them face to face at this fateful moment. The guy asked his uncle in surprise if this was really a young gentleman from a noble family who had come to carry out a task at such a difficult and inopportune moment. It seemed like he had accidentally stumbled upon a money bag, and they were in for a great catch today, so they should watch their language. He was immediately asked numerous questions about whether he had come for a mission and what his intentions were in this dangerous mission. The man offered to hire their mercenary squad as a guarantee of safety, and considering that he was a newbie, they were willing to give him a 20% discount. However, Lin Han replied sharply and decisively that no one needed help and he preferred to cope on his own without outside support. The man tried to convince him that the price could be discussed and even agree to work without commission just to keep him company and help the newcomer in a difficult situation. The protagonist grabbed his hand and firmly told him to stop insisting because he did not need help in any form. He warned that if the man continued to pester her with proposals, he risked losing his hand. The words sounded threatening and peremptory. After this, the main character decisively pushed away the annoying mercenary, making it clear that he would not tolerate such behavior and obsession. He realized that the promise of no commission was not just words, because if such a group of mercenaries did not intend to deceive people for money, then their true goal was to kill and rob the newcomer, leaving no chance for survival. The man decided that the only way to solve the problem was to get rid of Lin Han once and for all. At the most tense moment, someone called him to calm down in order to avoid unwanted conflicts and problems with the patrol. Some people noticed that there was a patrol here that strictly maintained order, and now was not the time for a fight or sorting things out. No one should provoke a fight, and the only way to leave here safely is to leave the protected area, where you can then release the accumulated tension and have some fun. The protagonist understood perfectly well that it was here that the destroyed ruins were located, and that the landscape around was very different from the familiar mountain of shadows, reminiscent of a completely different reality. He told the girl that it was time to go out and start completing the task so as not to waste precious time. The girl replied that she was ready for the fight and praised herself for her good preparation and excellent performance in training today. At this moment, a system prompt suddenly appeared with a new important task that required maximum concentration. Quest name: Heart of Thunder. Goal: hunting the Apostle of Thunder in order to get his heart. Reward: 300 experience points, which was an excellent motivation for leveling up the girl. However, the protagonist did not yet know the exact location of the Thunder Apostle, so he decided to first seek advice from Uncle Tion in order to obtain important information. He said that first they would complete the main task and then they would farm points and accumulate strength. They soon noticed a flock of level 15 thunder beasts preparing for a furious attack. The girl jumped straight into the center of the pack without hesitation, demonstrating courage and confidence in her abilities. The animals immediately began to attack the main character, but he calmly and confidently walked towards them without expressing fear. They couldn't handle the girl, so they decided to focus their attacks on him, trying to knock the enemy off balance. Lin Han created a fireball and declared that they would have a serious battle ahead of them and they would have to try hard. The thunder beast meat should be very tasty on the grill, he said with a slight mockery, lifting the mood. As a result, the battle quickly ended in his favor. The animals could not withstand the powerful firestorm. The magic scroll with mass fireball demonstrated its power and effectiveness, becoming an indispensable assistant. The main character has reached the limit of the first class and now must complete the task to change the class, otherwise he will lose the opportunity to gain new experience and develop further. The task was not yet completed and the animals tried to escape, but the hero's magic scrolls held them back, not allowing them to leave. He ordered the girl to speed up and finish off the remaining enemies in order to complete the task as quickly as possible. The end of the battle turned out to be successful. In a short time, they managed to collect almost all the energy stones, and the scrolls turned out to be really useful. Without completing the class change, all the accumulated experience would be wasted, but fortunately the girl was able to rise from level 13 to 15, so the day was successful. At this point, the guy picked up his phone to check the latest news and information about the next call. Information about the location of the Thunder Apostle had already appeared, and he immediately sent this data to Uncle Tion for further action. However, the Thunder Apostle is difficult to handle alone until you reach the second class and at least level 15, so he decided to wait and prepare. The protagonist said that they would first work on earning experience points to build up strength for the upcoming battle. One magic scroll costs tens of thousands, and with all he had already spent on the road, it became clear that the guy was clearly well off, and this time they were going to hit the jackpot. The man asked the boss when they would start acting, but she advised him not to rush and wait until the guy had accumulated enough energy stones. Besides, the woman next to him also turned out to be a strong player, and they would not start the fight until she was exhausted, and then they would begin decisive action. At this tense moment, they met a level 17 Thunder Apostle for the first time, and serious trials and dangers awaited them ahead, which were only just beginning. The protagonist was fully aware that his own level 18 capabilities compared to the mighty Storm Wolf King seemed absolutely insignificant to him, and did not pose any serious challenge or danger. Lin Han calmly and confidently sent the girl straight to him, stating that they would kill this enemy without much difficulty and immediately go home, completing the mission. At the most crucial moment, the creature suddenly jumped up from its place, ready for an unexpected attack and defense. The girl reacted instantly and attacked him with a swift and lightning-fast blow, not giving him a second to breathe. Then she instantly transformed into a tiny ant, as if to hide or carry out a stealth attack. In this miniature form, she began to move quickly towards her opponent, approaching him with unexpected agility. Suddenly, she jumped out from the ground and attacked him with a sudden blow, forcing the enemy to react to her swiftness. Following this, an ice crystal suddenly appeared above the protagonist's head, as if a magical protection or threat had manifested. Lin Han spoke with cold determination, urging the enemy to finally die and stop resisting. It was a powerful magic scroll, the legendary Spear of Sloth, which was capable of delivering fatal blows. The main character understood that this guy didn't have too much strength, but his tenacity was amazing. They barely managed to defeat him despite all their efforts. After he dealt with the Thunder Messenger, he received 300 experience points and realized that today had been a very profitable and successful day. These idle points are best used immediately to awaken AI and unlock new powerful skills. The girl felt that she had become much stronger and thanked her master for his support. He noted in response that she had behaved very decently and had not gotten lost even in the wilderness. At that moment, someone next to him said that he really had serious strength and potential for growth. However, he added that strength alone is not enough. To survive in these harsh conditions, you need to know how to handle weapons and have enough intelligence and cunning. The protagonist turned to the bald man standing behind him and asked if he was going to help him without any strings attached, since now that the monster was defeated, he could do more enjoyable things like massage his grandfather's feet. The bald man was indignant that he had dared to refuse the services of a group of mercenaries, and now he would have to pay for it. He threatened that he would give up all his treasures, but he would not leave here alive. The protagonist calmly asked if they really decided to rob here, even though they were afraid that the patrol commission would find out about their actions and arrest all the culprits. He also asked the man if he knew why the ruins were divided into safe and dangerous zones. The dangerous zones were deep inside where patrols did not go. Therefore, if he dies here, even if his body is found, they will decide that it was the work of wild animals, and they will only blame themselves for getting involved with the wrong people. He added that his little sister was an excellent and experienced mentor, so he had nothing to fear. The mercenaries could not understand where the mysterious woman who had just been next to them had disappeared to. Just then, she suddenly appeared right behind them, causing everyone to be horrified and confused. It was Zinshina. Terrible and horrible, she began to kill everyone around her with just her presence and strength. She easily protected her master from any threat, not allowing enemies to get close to him. The mercenaries realized that this woman was not an ordinary one and decided that she needed to be killed as soon as possible. It's a pity, we finally met such a beauty, but we need to attack quickly to survive. However, the bullets and attacks had no effect on her at all. The skill Iron Bones was activated, which increased her defense by 20%. They quickly realized that this girl was extremely strong and could not be underestimated, so they quickly retreated to save their lives. At that very moment, someone stood right in front of her as if challenging her. The protagonist asked if they wanted to try to run in too late, since they had almost no chance of success left. At that very moment, lightning struck her, as if confirming her power and extraordinary abilities. This girl seemed like a real monster, and it was surprising that the main character never ran out of magic scrolls, allowing him to fight endlessly. It seems like she only listens to this guy and has seen him fight the entire way. Without the magic scrolls, she would have lost a long time ago, but if they can capture him, they will have a chance to turn the tide of the battle. Hell, without the magic scrolls, this guy would just be a weakling, and they would be able to finish him off quickly. But many still thought that they would be able to land at least one blow on him or somehow influence the course of the battle. The protagonist said that this was commendable, but he was full of strength and energy, and he had a considerable amount of money and resources behind him. He demanded that they give him their equipment, energy stones, and skill books. Only then would he consider letting them go alive. Otherwise, he will make them realize that all fear is just a result of the lack of a powerful and confident force. The girl was perplexed and could not understand who was robbing whom here and what was happening in this chaos. Meanwhile, in the Temple of Class Change, new bustle and preparations for an important event began. A girl asked if the guy named Lin Han who had completed the stupid 5-star quest this morning was the same guy. She remarked that he was cute, but unfortunately, he had been given such a difficult quest that it was impossible to complete it in less than 10 to 15 days. At that moment someone greeted her, drawing her attention to the conversation. The protagonist said that he had just completed the class change assignment and had returned to hand in the results. Completing such a task seemed impossible, and everyone was surprised how it was possible to complete a 5-star test so quickly. He wanted to know more details about the job change mission, but he was told to wait a bit as his memories were being forcibly adjusted. The protagonist confirmed that he had indeed completed the task and returned to change classes. Everyone was very surprised and could not understand how he managed it so quickly. The girl noted with surprise that he managed it quite easily and immediately booked a room for him. Now room number 996 was available for him, and the procedure was the same as when he received the assignment. He thanked her for her help. She couldn't believe that he had actually completed the task in just a few hours, and she wondered if he was lying at all. The news that the 5-star quest called the Lost Kingdom had been successfully completed was confirmed to be the absolute truth, and it really was a fact that left no doubt. Everyone present was genuinely surprised and amazed that he was able to complete such a difficult 5-star task and discussed when they had gotten such a strong and capable person. They warmly congratulated him on successfully completing the class change task and reaching an important milestone, the Second Awakening, which was a significant breakthrough in his development. Lin Han quickly understood what a second profession meant and realized that it sounded quite promising and promised new opportunities. The protagonist began to carefully study all the conditions and features associated with the awakening process in order to fully understand what skills and abilities are now available. He couldn't immediately understand what exactly the new skills meant after changing classes, lightning wings and the ability to copy skills, and tried to figure it out. He asked to be allowed to test the power of the new skills to feel their strength and possibilities in practice. The protagonist was genuinely amazed and surprised that he could now fly, which seemed like an incredible achievement. The flying skill is a skill that can only be mastered through advanced skill books, and unexpectedly he unlocked it already during his Second Awakening, proving that the beast trainer profession truly deserves the title of a hidden and unique profession. As for the copy skill, it meant that he could copy and use Aya's abilities for a limited time, only 5 minutes, which could dramatically change the outcome of the battle at critical moments in the battle, and it was simply wonderful. He then received another reward related to leveling up, which opened up additional opportunities for development. The fusion skill sounded very impressive. Telepathy also promised to improve combat performance, but the most useful skill of all was the ability to detect anger nearby, like an automatic alarm warning of danger. If he had this skill earlier, he would have destroyed that gang of mercenaries long ago, and they would not have been able to either run away or show off, creating unnecessary problems. The protagonist chose the skill Wave of Anger because he considered it especially useful in the upcoming battles. After that, he began to rapidly rise in levels and was genuinely surprised at how quickly this task was completed. But he understood that such progress was quite normal after the Second Awakening. Now it was time for him to find a second beast trainer to test the effectiveness of the skill Return to Ancient Blood. In single combat, AI really wasn't that great. The area damage effect left much to be desired, although the situation with the lightning element was better. If he had a beast trainer with lightning abilities, it could compensate for the existing weaknesses. Looks like it's time to visit Uncle Tion to discuss future plans and get some help. He decided to sell the collected loot and at the same time acquire useful information for further development. The trading floor in the VIP area was bustling, and one man asked curiously if he had found any valuable treasure. The protagonist replied that he had simply met a group of people who had generously given him a great deal of treasure, and that he was now going to sell it all, asking for help with the appraisal. The man asked the girls what had happened to them, why they froze in bewilderment, and suggested that they come up and evaluate all the things in order to accurately calculate their cost. Although the Thunder Beast dropped many valuable treasures, they still could not compare to the accumulations that the clever squad had at their disposal, and it was good that they themselves rushed to their deaths, otherwise he would not have been able to earn so easily. The man began to explain in detail that the items he had brought were valued at a total of 13 heavenly dragon coins and promised that he would immediately arrange for this amount to be transferred to his bank card. Lin Han thanked him for his help and added that he was still looking for a lightning element beast trainer, so he asked if he knew of any useful recommendations or contacts. The man thought about it, pondering the features and capabilities of the lightning element. At that moment, something flashed in his memory, and he suddenly remembered an important detail. A rare and very high-quality thunderbird was spotted in the Thunder Forest located near Yuzhou City. This bird is rumored to have an ancient pedigree, and many have tried to catch it, but without exception all have failed. The thunderbird, which had ancient blood, perfectly matched his requirements for training, so he wondered if there was any additional information. Unfortunately, there was no other information, but the sellers reported that they had recently purchased one feather from this particular thunderbird. This feather has a special property. It begins to glow when someone approaches the thunderbird. Lin Han immediately realized that this was a very useful thing and decided to take it for himself. He stressed that since they were doing business, there should always be buying and selling, and such transactions should be fair and mutually beneficial. The man offered to give the feather for a friendly price, only 1 million dragon coins, understanding how valuable this acquisition was for Lin Han. For these damned feathers, he could easily buy more than 10 magic scrolls, and sometimes he even thought about why not just rob those who sell them, but at the same time he understood that this was the only clue that would help him find the thunderbird. Lin Han agreed to the deal without further ado, and the man thanked him for the purchase, sincerely glad that the item had gone to a good owner. He himself thought that if this feather really helped him find the thunderbird faster, then the million dragon coins spent would be absolutely justified. The Thunder Forest, home to thunder leopards, is considered a leveling zone for bronze and silver level players, and the recommended level for this area is around 20. Lin Han remembered that once he got within 10 meters of the thunderbird, the feather would start to glow and indicate the bird's exact location. Of course, it seemed a bit of a cheat to pay for a feather, because if he got that close, he would be able to see the bird with his own eyes anyway. But nevertheless, he had already paid this million, and now it was better to think about how to cross this dangerous forest together with AI without any particular difficulties. One such beast will be enough for him to be able to move freely around the silver zone, because if he takes another small beast trainer, he will not be able to dominate the gold zone. At this time in NNN, the girl was furious and did not hide her emotions. She accused Lin Han of being a scoundrel because he already lacked AI and now wanted to train other beasts, but he only asked her not to get angry and to remain calm. At that moment, someone screamed loudly and started calling for help. The girl ran towards the sound and saw a thunder leopard running away from her, and she screamed loudly for help. It was a level 19 thunder leopard, a very dangerous and powerful creature. Sun Yenwei, a level 10 Pathfinder master, knew that the situation was extremely serious, and if things continued like this, she would soon be caught. It was at this moment that she tripped over the bark of a tree, losing her balance. Naturally, she fell right on her face, which only made her situation worse. She had absolutely no options left but to resign herself and simply accept her inevitable predetermined death, which already seemed inevitable. She clearly understood and accepted the fact that now her final and merciless end had definitely arrived. Suddenly she noticed that she was still alive, although she could not understand where this unexpected and mysterious sound came from, which saved her at the most critical moment. This turned out to be a manifestation of a unique skill copying damage, a precise and powerful tiered strike of the heavenly horned ant. The girl was completely confused and could not comprehend what was happening, and how she managed to stay alive after such a powerful blow. Lin Han, slightly surprised, asked her if she was okay and wondered how he was able to push back the thunder leopard with just one blow and who he really was. She replied that the thunder leopard was not so easy to deal with, and while there was even the slightest chance, one could not simply run away and give up. Lin Han asked if she knew anything about the big cat, the thunder leopard, that they had encountered. He assured her not to worry, as someone would already take care of the beast and deal with it. Naturally, he meant AI, his mighty pet. At that moment, the girl resolutely sank her teeth into the thunder leopard. The battle began instantly, and both beasts engaged in a fierce fight. Having transformed into the form of a heavenly horned ant, and using the skill Iron Bone, was able to strengthen her defense, becoming in this form similar to a ferocious and indomitable beast lord. The girl asked in surprise if Lin Han really had another beast that was just as strong and wild. Lin Han asked her with concern if she was injured after such a collision. Then he asked if she could get up and continue moving. She replied that this ant was able to defeat the thunder leopard, which is at least a level 20 beast in strength and power. Before the enemy notices them, it is better to hurry and retreat to avoid further problems. At that moment, the thunder leopard was finally defeated. A voice came from the shadows asking indignantly how this girl dared to kidnap her master. The girl began to worry when she realized that they had been noticed, but Lin Han reassured her, saying that she had done well and had done everything correctly. He stroked her head and promised that a well-deserved reward for her bravery would await her at home. The girl could not fully understand what exactly was happening and how everything was changing so quickly around her. Lin Han politely asked her to introduce herself and tell him about herself. He introduced himself and explained that he had tamed animals, and this ant was his pet, so she had nothing to fear. The girl recognized him as the legendary beast tamer from the neighboring city about whom there were numerous rumors and whispers. The guy asked her not to exaggerate and not to believe everything they said. She asked in surprise, wasn't it customary for tamers to rely solely on the beast's fear, and why was he so strong even with his fists if his aunt could defeat such a formidable thunder leopard? At that moment the girl unexpectedly hit him with her head. Lin Han smiled and asked her not to be angry, explaining that he just wanted her not to get too close to the master. He asked why she was in such a dangerous place considering that she herself was not very strong. The girl introduced herself as Sunan. Wei said that she came here to do the quest for the second awakening, but she was unlucky and pulled out a 4-star quest. She asked why he was here. Lin Han explained that he heard about the appearance of a thunderbird in the forest and came specifically for it. He's looking for a beast, and her class tracking master is just the thing to help him with that. She should consider it thanks for him saving her life recently. The tracking master is usually weak in combat skills, but his abilities in searching and tracking are top-notch, which will be very useful in their work. Therefore, the completion of his task directly depends on her skills, and she must cope with it without problems. This is her responsibility. However, she had limitations in her abilities, and if they had a special item related to the Thunderbird, perhaps they would be able to determine her location more easily. He had just such an item, a single Thunderbird feather, and he offered to test it for her. She remembered that such an artifact was worth a fortune on the black market. The feather is in excellent condition and will be easy to locate the Thunderbird with, but with frequent use the feather may become damaged, which will reduce its value if he wants to sell it for money. Lin Han assured her not to worry, to him it was just useless junk, and if the pen got damaged nothing bad would happen. She began using her tracking skill to find the bird, and after a few moments of focused searching, then she opened her eyes wide as if she had noticed something very important and valuable. The girl said that she had finally found the trail and suggested that they follow the light which would lead them to the Thunderbird. Lin Han agreed and suggested that they set off quickly. He thought it would be nice to like it and leave a comment, maybe a hint at social media or internal humor. They began to carefully follow the trail they had found, trying not to miss a single detail. Lin Han warned the girl to wait a little as there were many wild animals ahead of them, and there were quite a few of them. The girl asked what they should do now in this situation. She suggested that they simply go around the danger zone, and at that moment she accidentally touched his shoulder with her chest, which made them both freeze for a moment. Lin Han confidently said that there was no need to go around and sent his beast forward to reconnoiter and attack. For killing the thunder monster, he received 650 experience points. It was a truly powerful and strong creature. It was no wonder that AE could crush all enemies with such ease and confidence, but for some reason Lin Han had the feeling that today she was acting especially vicious and aggressive. She did a great job with the task, and her owner will be very pleased with the result of her work and the courage she showed. The girl asked curiously if this little ant was really able to kill all the enemies, because he always said that such small monsters were easy to deal with. He finally reached level 11, and it felt simply amazing, as if he had risen to a new level of strength and capabilities. At that very moment, she unexpectedly collided with a girl who found herself in the same forest. The girl began to play around with her abilities again, and he had to ask her to return to her previous calmer appearance. He asked what happened. Were they attacked by some animal, or was there some other danger? But at that moment she did not see any animal nearby, and everything was quite calm. It turned out that it was this small ant that scared her more than any beast, and Lin Han told AE to return to her normal size. It would be much more convenient for her to move around. She felt like this little ant was specifically targeting her, but maybe it was just her imagination. However, she was really very angry because the girl laughed and seduced her master, and now she was ready to tear her apart. Let her come here, she promised not to kill. Of course, it was just her imagination. How could an ant be evil? She was so cute and harmless. The girl began to say that she was heading towards her, and was offering to let him pet her, as if she wanted to establish trust. This woman seemed so annoying to her that she wanted to swat her, but she was afraid that she would not be able to bear it. Let the owner stop her as soon as possible. Lin Han warned that there was only a little time left, and she was about to get really angry. There were still many animals ahead, so he suggested that the girl go first to clear their path and ensure safety. The real feeling of pumping this feeling was simply perfect and inspiring. In just such a short time he had reached level 15, and it looked like he would soon be starting the quest for his third awakening. AI also began to get tired from this long journey and intense hunt. The girl admitted that she was more than tired enough and needed to take a rest. The entire Thunder Forest had already been almost cleared thanks to their combined efforts. Now they had to avoid meeting other animals in order to get to the Thunderbird as quickly as possible, and she clearly felt that the bird was heading in that direction. The main character asked his pet if she felt anything dangerous or interesting ahead. AI really turned out to be an ancient beast, and perhaps something so powerful awaits them ahead that even she feels fear. It was indeed a Thunderbird, and at level 13, which promised a serious test. If they manage to sign a contract with her, then today they will be able to earn good money and significantly strengthen their forces. At that moment, the bird suddenly began to fly away quickly, as if trying to escape pursuit. The girl explained that their classes did not allow them to fly, and they certainly would not be able to catch the bird if it flew away after such efforts. It would be a shame to miss it so close. However, at that very moment, the main character began to show his new wings. They were magnificent wings of lightning sparkling and glowing in the dark. He quickly headed straight after the bird, not wanting to miss such a rare opportunity. The protagonist addressed the bird with words full of respect and hope. He asked her if she would like to become his animal companion, promising to provide her with reliable food and comfortable housing. At this point, the bird was clearly surprised and froze, evaluating the offer. But immediately after that, she suddenly began to fly away from him, and the main character was amazed by her quick and unexpected reaction. This animal seemed very interesting and wayward, with whom it was worth playing and establishing contact. He asked the girl to help him in this matter, and she agreed to provide support. The main thing is that he asked her if she really didn't want to become his beast, promising that she definitely wouldn't lose with him. At this point, he was almost fussing, trying to catch her by the tail to prevent her from flying away. But the bird again cleverly ran away from him, not wanting to obey. Then she decided to attack the guy, expressing her dissatisfaction. He realized that she would not be able to escape, and he was ready to fight her to the last because he certainly did not lack courage. As a result, he forced the bird into submission through fighting and force. The protagonist used the copy skill Furious Strike to gain the upper hand. He finally made a contract with her and got a new powerful pet. However, its stats for level 13 were quite weak, especially compared to the horned ant, but he almost forgot that he already had a leveling system, thanks to which developing a pet was a matter of time and effort. After that, he accepted the challenge and successfully activated the return of the ancient blood, entering his second form. This is what he really understood: real beasts, real power, and each level brought a huge increase, like 5 levels at once. His new skill, Lightning Storm, has become a true weapon of mass destruction, capable of crushing many enemies in a short time. The girl simply stood on the ground, amazed by what she saw and what was happening. She greeted her master with respect and gratitude. The protagonist finally realized that in front of him was indeed a real ferocious beast, much stronger and more dangerous than even the mighty AI. At that very moment, she was overcome with uncontrollable rage, which literally pulsated through her body and emanated from her in waves. She instantly appeared on the battlefield, as if materializing out of thin air, ready for immediate combat. AI began to furiously ask where this stinking bird came from, ordering it not to dare to tear its owner away from it, threatening that it was capable of swallowing this little ant with just its beak. The protagonist sternly told them to stop fighting, reminding them that they were now one family, and it was time to stop fighting because AE was the first to take human form like an older sister and deserves respect. The girl timidly asked to be given a name in order to gain individuality and respect among the other animals. The protagonist explained that they had animals of the thunder element and also birds, and said that one ancient poem spoke of the mixing of yin and yang from which lightning was born, called the drum of heaven and earth. He then suggested calling her Tion, which means heavenly tiger, symbolizing strength and greatness. The girl immediately said that she really liked this name and thanked the owner for such an honorable nickname. Such a sweet and gentle girl has a wild and destructive thunderstorm technique, and it would be interesting to test her power in practice in a real fight. By the way, this was just the perfect opportunity to show what they are capable of. The girl stood aside at this time, still not understanding where the guy was and when he would return. Meanwhile, a tense atmosphere reigned in the barbarian camp. She asked the guy if he really wanted to help her complete this dangerous 4-star mission, since her goal was to hunt the camp leader, which could be deadly, and it might be better to refuse. She helped him find the Thunderbird, and he in turn promised to help her with the task, which seemed fair, and he himself wanted to test Tion, whose strength. They decided to go forward, and the girl promised to show what she was capable of in battle. At that very moment, the bird began to rise slowly and gracefully into the sky, preparing to attack. It was at this moment that she assumed human form, displaying all her true strength and greatness. She used her most powerful skill, Thunderstorm, bringing down hail and lightning on her enemies. At that moment, the sky began to change rapidly, as if reacting to her destructive power and the storm. The barbarian camp contained warriors of levels 7, 8, and 9 ready to resist and protect their leader. You should like and comment. The monster's level was too low for Tion, who, in her superiority over them, was obvious, causing the enemies to kneel and beg for mercy. The protagonist told her to act as she saw fit, but not to kill the barbarian leader because there was so much lightning coming from the sky that she could not see exactly where the bird was. The girl replied that she was completely ready and eager for battle. At this moment, she quickly attacked all the barbarians at once, demonstrating incredible speed and strength. Naturally, some barbarians began to desperately resist, trying to protect their leader. The girl walked up to the chief and grabbed him by the throat, squeezing so hard that he could barely breathe. At that very moment, a bright purple lightning flashed across the sky and struck one of the barbarians. The girl asked if the Thunderbirds were going to help them in the attack since there were too many enemies and she didn't know how long it would take. Perhaps they should go and help. At that moment, something unexpected appeared before them. It was the barbarian chieftain, whom the bird had already seized with its claws, giving him no chance to resist. The protagonist ordered the girl to kill him, saying that then her task would be completed and they would be able to complete the mission. The girl replied that she understood everything and was ready to carry out the order without delay. Soon Anwei dealt the fatal blow to the barbarian leader and the mission was successfully completed. She thanked the guy and admitted that without his help she would not have coped with this dangerous mission. She said that she lived not far from this place and everything was already done, so she wanted to show him the city of Yujo so that he could understand her better. The protagonist replied that it was not worth it because they had already helped each other with the search for the Thunderbird and the completion of the task, and he hoped that fate would still connect their paths in the future. The girl also hopes that one day they will meet again and be able to support each other. Half a day had passed and now he had already tamed the second beast. Such incredible luck was almost impossible, and now he needed to carefully think through a plan for further pumping and development of pets. At this moment, the main character noticed something important and unusual that could change their further actions. At that very moment, Fatty Lewin called him, and he couldn't understand why he was calling at such a late hour. Perhaps something urgent and important had happened. Lin Han asked why he was calling, and if he was calling for dinner, then he was already ready to go out. Lewin replied that he only had food on his mind, but he had a more important and serious matter for him. He asked the boy if he had ever heard of the illusory reality. The illusory reality is a virtual space specially created by the Imperial Army for training. This space is capable of not only simulating a variety of battle scenes, but also generating a multitude of ferocious beasts to battle the awakened. Although it is not possible to gain experience here, it is an ideal place to practice and improve techniques and skills. In the room, he told me that many people almost broke each other's heads for a slot in this simulator, but he was able to get a pass through his dad especially for him. Tian Hu and AE have excellent individual combat abilities, and now they will undergo difficult training in the illusory realm, which will help them become even stronger. They must serve their owner 100% and never let him down, because if they can learn to act in a coordinated manner and work together as a real team, then this will definitely please the owner and bring incredible success in all their endeavors. He sent him the address on his phone, saying that as soon as he had some free time he should definitely try again and not to bother him too often because he had already done a lot for him. He advised to just let the situation go because they are like brothers to him, and when he gets rich he should definitely not forget about them and always remember their support. The protagonist's room was cozy and spacious with soft lighting and a minimalist interior ideal for relaxation and strategic thinking. AI immediately met him in the morning smiling and asked how he slept, whether he had rested well, and the main character could not help but notice that even from the very morning she had already begun to provoke him with playful remarks. Lin Han replied that it was still too early and he could sleep a little longer because now he would literally suffocate from the tension, and this was exactly the sweet torment that he was so accustomed to feeling. AI started calling her a stinky bird and said that the owner could barely breathe because of her, to which she suggested just hugging the bird because she was so small and could definitely free his breath. She asked defiantly who was the little one here because the owner himself said that she was the older sister, and if he did not understand such simple words then most likely he also had a small brain. They were both grown up and beautiful girls, but inside they were still children, which only proved that they urgently needed training in teamwork and mutual understanding. At the center of the illusory reality, he was informed that his identity had been successfully confirmed and was offered to enter a capsule to enter the patterned reality for training and testing. He could choose a dungeon of a suitable level for himself, and if he managed to beat the record, he would receive a worthy reward because it was after all a gift from the military who he hoped did not skimp on the reward. They wished him a pleasant dive and successful completion of the tests, emphasizing the importance of training in this virtual space. The user successfully verified his identity. The system allowed him to enter the silver dungeon, and he was given the opportunity to choose another location, but he said that he preferred this place and was not going to leave it. The two of them said that they were fully prepared for the test and were looking forward to starting training. He successfully selected the silver dungeon, and the loading process began. After a few moments, the dungeon was fully loaded and ready to be played. An illusory battle arena appeared before them, opening up new opportunities and challenges. At that moment, wolves appeared in front of them, ready to fight and guarding the territory. The protagonist called them his old friends, hinting at the upcoming battle and a long history of relationships. AI, turning to the stinking bird, said that she would show which of them was truly more suitable to be near the owner and deserved his attention. She immediately began to attack one of the wolves, demonstrating her strength and determination. At that moment, AI easily repelled the wolf's attack, showing her superiority in battle. She then cheekily showed the middle finger to the smelly bird, thereby causing displeasure and provocation. The girl asked if this was a reason for such behavior and called this little ant a naive child who does not yet understand real strength. She said that now she will allow us to show what real strength is and how to fight. The main character reminded that they are now one family and must love and support each other despite all the differences. Apologized to him and admitted that she didn't want to love the smelly bird, but she didn't have much sympathy for it either, which only emphasized the difficult relationship between them. Both girls turned out to have difficult characters, which made their interaction both tense and interesting. The main character turned to the wolf, asking if he had decided to play a joke on him and test his strength. The wolves immediately became concerned, asking if he was hurt anywhere, and if they apologized, as they knew it was their fault for not being able to protect him from danger. They admitted that all the blame was on them, as they were so envious of the master's strength that they forgot about their own safety and protection, and now they were obliged to take the battle as seriously and responsibly as possible. The third wave of beasts had already appeared, and their level had reached 20, which made the situation much more difficult. The protagonist was afraid that even some rare combat professions would not cope with such complexity, but this was exactly what suited him to improve his skills. The main weakness of tamed animals was their lack of combat power and physical strength, which needed to be urgently replenished. It was for this reason that he came to the patterned reality to eliminate this deficiency. He wanted to fill the gaps in his capabilities and become stronger for the challenges ahead. Lin Han attacked the beast with ease, demonstrating his strength and skill. Someone said he was just amazing and a really talented fighter. Lin Han replied that it was not bad since he had invested all his stat points into strength and it was bearing fruit. The real battle was just beginning and many trials lay ahead. Lin Han told AE to activate Berserker mode and Tion, who to activate acceleration to maximize their combat capabilities. Although she doesn't want to fight, both the stinking bird and the ferocious beast obey their master's orders, and she doesn't want to be a burden or a weak link in the team. Lin Han decided to test whether these wolves could handle AE in strength and whether the bird could quickly and effectively attack enemies. The enemies turned out to be strong, but they were all doomed to die in this brutal battle. The testing center of the illusory world was filled with a tense atmosphere where every step could be decisive. Brother Feng's giant sword shook and all the beasts fell under its powerful blows. It was so magnificent that classmate Su Ting could only regret not being able to see it in person. She might invite him to join her team next time, and he would be happy to join them in training and fighting together. However, she apologized and admitted that she preferred to fight alone, relying entirely on her own strength. This unapproachable flower really turned out to be as cold as rumors say, and now everyone could see how he literally tore her off her pedestal. What a shame that the speed indicators in this room will break all records, which will make it more difficult to complete the dungeon. Silver tier dungeon, current progress, final stage, completion time 8 minutes 59 seconds, participant Lin Han. The final stage was completed in just 9 minutes, and no one could believe that he would actually break the record. Who is this guy? Maybe he is a student who is secretly preparing for something serious in one of the influential families. Could he really be the same beast tamer from their school? How could this humble guy even find a place among such strong people, or is it just a coincidence of names that misleads everyone? But But the record was 9 minutes and 8 seconds, and indeed he was able to surpass that figure, proving that he really is incredibly strong and talented. At this moment, Lin Han and his beasts were resting after a long and intense training, allowing their bodies to recover and gain strength for new challenges. He said that he had finally finished everything and now he could relax a little because the main task had been successfully completed. The reward for this was a valuable guide to new skills, and the illusory world itself turned out to be so interesting that next time he plans to try to pass the gold level dungeon to test himself even more.